Hello and welcome back to Vampire Therapist. I would like to try something because in the episode before, I it didn't quite go well with Crimson because I um did therapy stuff on her when I didn't have her consent, and I want to see if I can change that. I won't change the whole course. Um, I just want to see if I can change it and then come back to this point, and I want to record this year. It doesn't take it shouldn't take that long. So let's.
I probably want to forget that. I should go talk to Crimson.
If it isn't Sammy the Kid.
Well, thanks, Crimson. What is that? A Bloody Mary?
No, a Bloody Steve.
Of course it is. How's the crowd tonight?
You know, it's funny. They're a little on the weird side tonight. Must be a full moon out.
Oh, you ain't kidding. I just had my first therapy session with the strangest fella I ever met. The actor type. Used to be an international celebrity back when I was alive. Seems like fame's a nasty drug.
Like Andy says, people are people. Doesn't matter what era they're from. Feeling good about your session, though?
He was pretty confrontational, but he was happy to talk about. Andy says the real clients to worry about are the ones who've got nothing to say.
I get that. Being a human isn't easy. You gotta be pretty damn privileged to have no problems at all.
Well, this fella definitely has plenty of problems. I think he'll be keeping me busy.
It's a big world out there, cowboy. Full of vampires with no self-awareness.
Well, ain't that the truth? Well, here's to change then.
To change.
You, drinking Andy's blood there?
Andy's? Nuh-uh, this is a plain old mortal drink. You think anyone would want to drink that man's blood from a bottle when they can get it straight from the source?
I suppose they wouldn't.
I'm not proud to drink blood, Sam. Wouldn't be doing it out here.
I didn't mean to cause offense, man.
Not your fault. I guess I shouldn't be offended.
Okay, I can't continue clicking, so it was designed to offend her or to cross the boundary. So yeah, just wanted to know that.
I wonder why that is. I'll bet Crimson knows.
Giddy up, little doggy.
I ain't heard that one in a while.
Truth is, I'm running out of cowboy terms. What can I get you, handsome?
How about a kind ear for my troubles?
You got a real old school way of seeing bartenders. But in this case, you're right. I am a good listener. Lay it on me.
I got this new client. Makes me feel old.
250-year-old man feels old, huh?
Yeah. But seriously, I thought I understood people, but she's from another time, like. I've been around a long time, and I ain't seen nothing quite like this internet. But my client lives there.
And you think you can't help her because you don't understand the internet?
I reckon I can be of some aid. Just gotta figure out all this technology. My dial-up modem might not be up to today's standard.
Maybe you were right. You are ancient. But I'm glad you're feeling confident, cowboy. A vampire who can adapt is a mighty fine one.
Gosh.
Here's the thing, cowboy. Nobody understands the internet. I don't feel old yet, though. Still just glad to be alive, thanks to Andy's blood.
Oh, yeah?
I know you've been curious about why I've been drinking vampire blood. You don't have to pretend. I've got a rare blood cancer. Andy's blood is what's keeping me alive.
Oh wow.
Oh, I'm real sorry.
I didn't say I was dying. I said I had cancer. Stop making that face. I'm just glad I found Andy. Don't think I was quite ready to die.
Well, I, for one, am glad you're sticking around, Crimson.
Well, thank you kindly. So what'll it be, Sam? You ain't gonna dance?
No, I ain't gonna dance.
I ain't got time to dance. I ain't got time to boogie.
You owe me that story one day, cowboy. Here, have a little something I whipped up for Andy. Herbal blood tea.
No garlic, right?
No garlic.
Mighty kind of you. Maybe I'll take a nightcap. You have yourself a fine night, Crimson.
Adios, muchacho.
I think that's my last client for a while. My caseload's big enough. I'm starting to get overwhelmed. Maybe something from one of my books will inspire me. But then again, I could watch cartoons instead. I think I'll read a poem. I've got one I love. Care of one, Walt Whitman.
What would man?
I celebrate myself and sing myself. And what I assume you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you.
All right.
I loaf and invite my soul. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. My tongue, every atom of my blood, formed from this soil, this air, born here of parents born here, from parents the same, and their parents the same. I, now 37 years old, in perfect health begin, hoping to cease not till death. Creeds and schools in abeyance, retiring back a while, sufficed at what they are, but never forgotten. I harbor for good or bad. I permit to speak at every hazard. Nature without check, with original energy. Just a little reminder that I'm still human. I think that's enough action for one night. Time I got me some shut-eye. Good night, son.
A fine evening to you, Samuel. How are you feeling tonight?
Not bad, not bad. A little overwhelmed, but I guess I kind of have a lot going on these days.
Indeed you do. The mind is an easy place to get lost in, is it not?
You ain't kidding. Keeping all them cognitive distortions in my head and sorting through all my clients' problems ain't easy.
We are not machines, Samuel. I believe you will find that you can never handle everything at once. There is a term the mortals use these days, multitasking. It's a kind of meta-control fallacy. Even we must handle thoughts one at a time.
I guess. I just hope I can concentrate on my own therapy with all this stuff bouncing around in my noggin.
I do not expect you to be an exception to the rule, my dear fellow. Let us see whether we can clear your head. I would like to introduce you to a ritual I have learned for stilling the mind.
Meditation.
This some kind of ancient vampire secret? Something the old ones gave you that's been lost to time? Something mortals could never imagine?
No, it's just meditation.
Oh.
That does not make the technique any less valuable. Now then, close your eyes. I will guide you through this process. Think of a place that brings you comfort. Where is it?
I'd have to say the woods. I always liked being in nature.
Then imagine the woods and let your thoughts come to you. Be attuned to your body. Breathe, and you will be able to address your thoughts and clear your mind. Now close your eyes and begin.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. First breathe. Okay, watch as breathing slows down your thoughts. Last to clear a thought. Clear a thought, hover over it.
I ain't cut out for this therapy thing. And it sure is a tall glass of water. I miss my princess. I kinda miss farting. Focus, Sam, focus. Who's got a pretty mane? Wonder what's on Batflix. Should I hook up with Reinhardt? I'm so bad at meditating. I like blood from San Antonio, not New York City. Relax, ain't no vampire hunters here. Who's my favorite horse? Is it you?
How are you feeling now?
Interesting.
Yeah, all right. Fine, really. All them thoughts just feel like thoughts.
What sorts of things came up for you?
Well, I thought about my clients. I thought about all them cognitive distortions. My horse came up a lot.
Your horse?
Yeah, Princess. She was my horse back when I was alive. I still think about her every day. I can't really stop.
I understand. I have bonded with many horses in my own life. but it sounds as though the loss of Princess was particularly fraught.
Yeah,
Would you like to start there?
not sure I'd like it. But seeing as it's come up, maybe we should talk about what happened to her. It's got a lot to do with my old gang. I mentioned them before. Well, the Mystic Bastards was their name. They were the gang to join if you had nothing to lose, and I had nothing to lose.
That sounds like some Nosferatu thinking, my friend.
Oh, I can see that now. But it turned out I still did have something to lose. And they took that from me to prove my loyalty. They took my princess, killed her in cold blood, and made me watch the whole thing. They made sure she saw me too.
What the fuck?
Oh, Samuel, I am so sorry.
I just stood there, watching her dying, with them big eyes looking at me like she knew I betrayed her. They knew what it would take to break me.
Oh my
And it's my fault for
god.
letting them do it.
But Samuel, these Mystic Bastards, it sounds as though these loyalty tests were a cruel, mechanical part of their indoctrination process. These are the actions of a cult. They had no special care for you or your princess.
Well, it sure as shit worked. They knew where to hit me, and it's my fault for letting it happen.
What they did, Samuel, had little to do with you personally. You were vulnerable, and they took advantage. This is what cults do. But Samuel, you are exhibiting a cognitive distortion known as personalization. You are attributing the Mystic Bastard's actions entirely to your own supposed failings.
Often we assume things happen because of us. Heck, often they do. That's why we get tempted by personalization, wrongly linking external events to ourselves and acts. In cases where realistically there ain't no definite link. Sometimes people actually are out to get us. Or we do cause events, but sometimes we're doing some personalization. Examples, the Vampire Country Club doesn't allow cowboy hats. They made that rule just to discriminate against me. The cattle got spooked and ran off. They must have been scared of my face, not the thunderstorm. The vampire hunter found my lair. Something about me must have screamed, target me. We still have 5, so one moved away. I can't quite put my finger on which it is. Disconnect closet, no start thinking. Control fallacy, okay.
While it is natural to grieve for your horse, holding yourself solely responsible is neither fair nor accurate.
Hold on a sec, my head's hurting. I can't hold on to all them distortions all the time. Ain't personalization a lot like a control fallacy?
An astute observation, Samuel. Personalizations are often a form of control fallacy. While control fallacies often manifest as a belief that you have more control over external events than is actually the case, personalization is a more specific tendency to believe that external events are reactions to you. But let us leave control fallacies out of the picture for now. You are correct that keeping all distortions in mind at once is unrealistic. I would not interrupt your thoughts if I did not think personalization important. You are shouldering the blame for Princess's death. I can see that.
Well, if it ain't my fault, who else's is it?
The Mystic Bastards, of course. Let me put it into perspective for you. I will make a series of statements, and you help me identify the personalization distortion. I overslept in my coffin because I forgot to set my alarm. I bit Crimson's neck last night and missed the vein because I was distracted. It was entirely my fault. Batflix raised my subscription price again because they knew I would pay no matter what.
Well, that's the personalization. Badflix has no earthly clue who you are. They just raise their subscription prices anyway.
Yes, they do. Batflix.
Just as your gang planned to isolate members from their former lives. Do you see the connection?
I guess so. I was just too stupid to see it at the time.
Calling yourself stupid is what distortion?
Yeah, it's labeling. But I should have known anyway. I knew that crew was bad news. I just thought I was bad news too.
You should have known. That's another distortion of reality, Samuel.
All right, fine. Should stay. Whatever. So what the hell am I supposed to do, Andy? Say nothing's ever my fault and I don't gotta know nothing? I was responsible for getting that beautiful horse killed.
What? No, you weren't.
She trusted me, and if I'd been someone else, she wouldn't have had to die in that awful way.
I am not asking you to lie to yourself. Far from it. And I am not suggesting that you absolve yourself of all responsibility. But what would you say if a friend came to you with the same story? Would you tell them what they should have done? Would you call them stupid? You said yourself that you joined your gang because they were the gang to join if you had nothing to lose. I do not think this is a circumstance most people choose.
Yeah, I suppose.
Remember, Samuel, we are trying to reframe our thinking by clarifying these distortions. I know it may feel as though I am picking on you, but I am not. Let us forget what you should have done to make room for a different distortion. You are drawing a direct link from your emotion to the death of your horse. This is a distortion called emotional reasoning.
Emotional reasoning is when we act like our feelings represent reality. But no matter how unhappy we are, feelings alone don't define the world. I asked Andy, ain't everything emotional reasoning? He said no, emotional reasoning is specifically when we project our feelings onto the world. The world can't feel like garbage when I feel like garbage, but that don't make it reality. I get the shivers walking into the ghost town, so it's gotta be haunted. I feel uncomfortable around them young vampires, they must be up to no good. This horse trader feels trustworthy, so he must be. Let's do the deal.
I understand the guilt you feel, Samuel, but your guilt does not act on its own. This terrible thing, it did happen, and some choices you made undoubtedly created the circumstances for it to occur. You are not blameless, but let us restrict your blame to what you have actually done.
I'm sorry. I get awful worked up when talking about my princess. You should have seen her, Andy. She had these eyes. She looked right into my tainted soul and still loved me.
I understand, Samuel. We feel tremendous guilt when we fail an animal. When we look at reality, it is not to dismiss our burdens, but to process them fairly. I would like you to understand emotional reasoning so you can see how emotions color our thoughts. Please listen, and call me out when I am using emotional reasoning. I feel anxious. Perhaps it is the garlic naan I smell from the Indian restaurant next door. The mood in my club is somber tonight. I am sure it is a reflection of my own dark mood.
That's the emotional reasoning right there. I don't think them folk in the club know too much about how you're feeling.
Exactly. Our emotions can feel all-encompassing, and that is purely biological. We are animals, Samuel. There is a small cluster of brain tissue at the base of the cranium that tells us we are safe or that we are about to die. The complexity of our existence is at odds with our biology, but we have the logic to recognize it.
Well, if reincarnation's a thing, I think I'd rather come back as a horse.
It is indeed a boon and a curse to have human complexity of thought.
No kidding. If I were a horse, I'd know better than to join any cowboy gang, let alone the Mystic Bastards. I'd be happy with a bag of oats and a field to run around in.
How did you end up with the Mystic Bastards in the first place?
Well, like I said, I didn't have much choice. Nobody would have taken me in at that point, except a hangman, maybe. I wasn't a vampire yet, so hanging didn't sound too appealing. The last job I did got my brother killed, and after that, my wife left with my daughter and I never saw him again. Can't say I blame her. I didn't have nobody. Ain't no surprise that a vampire gang would be the only people to take me in.
Aha, so that is how you turned.
Yes, sir. It wasn't pleasant. Not the candlelight and writhing body sort of affair you see in mortal vampire stories.
That is terrible, Samuel. The turning is never easy. How did they find you?
That job that got my brother killed, we partnered up with one of them Mystic Bastards for it. He knew where to find me.
And he knew you were vulnerable and that you had no place to go.
I've thought about that. Were they setting me up all along? Maybe. But whether they were or not, I really didn't have any place to go. I know when them wanted dead or alive posters go up, folk find dead easier and more fun. People saw me as outlaw scum when I was a kid, and there was no way they were going to be kinder knowing I was in a gang.
You know this for a fact. You are certain that no one would have any pity on you at all, that your only recourse was to join your gang?
I guess I don't actually know that no one but the bastards would have taken me in. Sounds like a cognitive distortion, huh?
I think you see the patterns now. It may seem like pedantry, and perhaps it is, but pedantry is the search for ultimate truth.
Spoken like a true pedant.
It comes with being terrifyingly old. You discovered the cognitive distortion before I could point it out to you. It is a cognitive distortion similar to Nosferatu thinking, so let us put that particular distortion out of our minds for now. Yes, things were grim for you, but your experiences caused you to assume that there were none who would favor you with a kind eye. You were exhibiting the cognitive distortion of overgeneralization, the idea that no mortal could accept you. This clouded truth made you vulnerable to the mystic bastard's approach.
Damn. Maybe you ain't wrong, huh? I should have joined the Foreign Legion or something.
Overgeneralization is when we take one or two experiences and then assume future experiences will always be the same. Mortals overgeneralize when they think all vampires date high schoolers based on that one vampire book they read. We know what we've experienced, but it's a distortion to think our experiences represent a pattern or the whole of something. Examples: every time I play poker I lose. I will never win this game. Transylvanians sure are creepy. I knew a man who smoked a pack a day and died at age 96. I reckon tobacco's fine.
Dang it, should statement.
Your mind is not a cognitive distortion shooting gallery, Samuel. Cut yourself some slack. All we seek is recognition of our distortions, not perfection and not punishment. Let us test your ability to recognize overgeneralization. Then I believe we will have covered enough for tonight. Allow me to begin. Elder vampires are insufferable. They all think they know everything.
Wait, ain't you an elder vampire? You don't seem like much of a know-it-all.
That's right, Samuel. Though in all honesty, I used to be quite insufferable myself. I aspire to be more patient these days. Let me continue. It seems to me that being a werewolf is pretty rough. Vampires from Transylvania all have funny accents. I want to suck your blood. Who talks like this?
That seems like an overgeneralization, Andy. I ain't sure any of them ever sounded like that. Pretty sure they all sound American these days anyway from watching bat flicks all the time.
Correct, Samuel. I apologize for the offensive accent. It was employed only to prove a point. Well done, Samuel. Your ability to identify cognitive distortions continues to impress. But let us bring things back to you. I do not ask you to absolve yourself of the things you have done. You did not have the tools to be mindful of the thought patterns that made you vulnerable to the mystic bastards. I have seen mindfulness take root in you, though, Samuel. I hope this session has been helpful to you.
Yeah, I'm still sad. And still regretful about Princess. I think I'll always be. My not being mindful is what killed her. Every time I think about it, I just know I'm a terrible person who messes everything up. But I think the awareness helps.
It does. Then please tell me what cognitive distortion you just exemplified. Was it emotional reasoning, overgeneralization, or personalization?
It's overgeneralization, ain't it? Saying I'm a terrible person who messes everything up is reductive.
Well observed, Samuel. But you will find it is also emotional reasoning to link your pain to Princess's death and personalization to attribute it to yourself. Remember, cognitive distortions are not a cudgel to beat yourself with.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. If we're spouting cognitive distortions all the time, ain't my clients gonna be mad at my constantly interrupting them?
You continue to impress. Yes, we cannot bully our clients with distortions. Thus, I find it is best to clear our minds and focus on a few during each session. Keeping endless distortions in mind is not easy for a therapist either, after all. I think we have done excellent work tonight, and I'm certain you've built up a thirst. I know this evening was emotionally intense. Ask Crimson for some scotch.
Drinking booze ain't exactly compatible with our biology, Andy.
By scotch, I mean Scottish blood. It's iron-rich and quite delicious. I age it in whiskey barrels.
That sounds pretty nice. I might just do that and call it an early night.
As you wish, Samuel. Rest well, and do not lasso yourself so tightly, as you say. You are deserving of love, especially from yourself.
I'm just gonna leave before I get more embarrassed.
Very well, Samuel. Rest in peace, my friend.
Nice! Okay.
Samuel, greetings. You are seeing Dr. Drain again tonight, yes?
Yes, but we're doing this in the next episode. Doesn't really... We don't have to start the next session for the last 5 minutes. So, yeah. Thanks again for watching this therapy session of Max himself. And, yeah, getting to know some new distortions. And we'll see how that goes in the next episode. So, thank you for watching and see you next time.